Yeah, like he was saying, everybody's a little bit different on their leg drive. Um, Justin, if you notice when he was benching, his feet are in a much different position than mine are. You're still flat-footed, right?
I mix my. I go back and forth. It depends. I can go either way with my leg drive.
Okay, so I'm always flat-footed. I've tried to get my legs up under me and have my the balls of my feet instead of having flat feet, and I'm not flexible enough to do it yet. I'm still trying, working on it because it cuts down on my range of motion. So there's going to be two different kinds of leg drive. Leg drive where you are flat-footed, and then leg drive where you are on the ball of your feet. For the people that tuck their feet up under them, leg drive, it can be a bigger issue because it's harder to get good leg drive and keep your butt on the bench. Yeah, that's one of the big things that you see a lot of people don't use leg drive because their butt comes up. Well, you're missing a lot of weight in your bench press if you're not utilizing leg drive. That's a really good way. If you can synchronize your push in the upper body and push in the lower body, it'll jump off your chest. And if you're not, it may come off your chest, but not nearly with the speed. And if you have good speed, then you can push past your sticking points. With your feet tucked up under you, what you really want to focus on to get your leg drive is heels. I don't know how many of you have been to a meet, and you see somebody, struggling with a bench, and you hear them say, heels, 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 heels. They're meaning to push your heels down. So if you're up on the ball of your foot like this, say this is my foot, and you push your heels down, what that does is that helps you push with your legs without actually raising your hips up. Christine's another one that, I finally got her hips were not as flexible as they needed to be, and we've worked on it for a little while. Now she's got her feet tucked way up under her like she's been trying to do, and she finally figured out how to get leg drive by pushing her heels down now, and her bench press is kind of taken off. We'll see next weekend at her meet what she can do, so we'll see. But if you can really focus on driving your heels down hard, your butt will stay on the bench and you'll be able to utilize the leg drive. And I'm very different in the fact that my feet are always flat. So when I set up, my feet are, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart, and they're out in front of me. Now, you got to watch those because it's real easy to get your butt up. If you start pushing with your big old strong legs, your butt's going to raise up unless you kind of work on some cues. Spud really, Spud's the one that taught me how to push with my legs, and it dramatically helped my bench press. And it was push through the front of your toe box in your shoes. So you want your toes to be all scrunched up in the front of your shoes.
Yep.
When you start pushing. And then the other thing, if you do that, you're going to push this way along the bench instead of this way with your butt coming up. So, this is your upper body, and you're pushing this way. You're not going to go anywhere when you've got heavy weight in your hands. But if you push this way, if you push up, your butt's going to raise up, and it doesn't matter if you get it or not, you're going to get red lighted.
For me, the cues that I use is the person that would hand off to me, I always had them, if I needed, once I come down and touched, and then it was time for me to come off that chest, they would start telling me back, 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 back. They weren't trying to get me to move the bar back. They were reminding me that I needed to be thinking of driving my body back. For me, that's what helps keep me on the bench is if I just drive with the leg. Sometimes I have the problem, I've been red lighted for it before, getting my ass to come up off the bench because I'm driving hard enough with the legs. But if I constantly have someone yelling back, 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 I'm thinking of driving to where my body, here's the bench, this is my body feels like it's going back like this as I'm benching.
Yep.
Where I saw that at a meet one time. I can't remember who the guy was, but I was at a meet, and the guy come down on his bench. This man had such a hard leg drive that he literally blew his knee out, leg driving. And the whole time his handoff person was yelling back, 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 back. And I remember watching that happen. I've been struggling with my leg drive. I remember telling myself, that's the kind of leg drive I want. I want to be driving so hard with my leg that I could blow a I need. I still got the bench amazing. Granted, he was done for the rest of the meet, but um, that was that moment that it kind of clicked with me on what I needed to do. And I actually went and talked to the guy that was handing off for him, and I said, why were you giving him that back command? Were you trying to get him to move the bar back? What were you doing? So on and so forth. And he explained to me that that's how they reminded him to be driving his body back. So I incorporated it into my training, and it works like a charm for me. Again, just like everything else that we've talked about today, mess around with it. Mess around with a few different things. Try what Dale was talking about. Maybe try what I was talking about as well. Again, you don't know what's going to work until you try it.
And you're definitely not going to find out what works unless you try it.
Exactly.
So play around with your version of everything that we talked about today. Move your hand placement around, move your bar placement. Play with where your elbow position is. Try some that are really over-exaggerated tucking. Try benching with your feet up under you if you're a bencher that has your feet out in front of you always. You never know what you're going to find, and it may just be one of those things that clicks and you're like, oh, that's awesome. Or it may be one of those things that you see a hint of something that might work, and if you work on it, then it's going to work well for you. But if you never try it, you could be missing out on a really beneficial thing for your total. So experiment.
Experiment.
That's what lifting is. Finding out what works for you, and if it doesn't work, change it, fix it. I think that's all the info we got this week. I know we're going to have another Ustream video next week. What are we doing, Christine?
We are doing the decompression protocol.
Justin's going to show some really cool stuff with some of our bands to keep you healthy. I know he's helped me out a whole lot because I've been prepping for a meet, and my spine's getting smushed and my hips are getting torqued up and stuff like that. So he's shown me a couple cool things that have really helped to recover and rehab. So I'm feeling not like walking death right now with a month out from a meet. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Good. It'll be a fun one for you guys. And also the awesome thing about it is, as we're going through next week's video, there will be a few things that you may see me use that you may not have readily available for you. The great thing about it is all that stuff we do have here at Spudding. So after you see the video, and if it's something that you want to try, make sure you contact one of us, and how can I get my hands on some of those cool products, and we can definitely get you hooked up on them.
That's right. Also, a little bit more stuff about benching. We just posted an article on our Facebook page that I was just looking at Elite Fitness's page, and they had a pretty cool Throwback Thursday article on foot position and driving and handoff positions and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. A little bit of extra info if you want to check out our Facebook page. We've got that on there. I think we're going to be posting something about our December giveaway here pretty soon, so stay tuned for that. It's going to be something pretty cool. So definitely stay up on that if you want some free stuff, which who doesn't like free stuff? So, all right, we appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week.
All right, stay strong, lift heavy.